adjustment layers. I'm going to use these two photos. Let's create a new document. I'm going to use these settings, the portrait mode for the Instagram or for the social media all. Then I will bring this photo inside it and I will try to fit it to the frame. I'll rotate it, make it upside down and fit it to the frame like this. Okay, now let's go to the adjustment layers. You can access the adjustment layer from this icon, click on it, and we have a couple of the groups of adjustment layers. The first group is the solid colors, or the colors that we use for the backgrounds. The first one is the solid color. We use this mostly for the background or to make it overlay on the photos, just like this. Then you can double click over here and change the color to any color that you want. Yeah, maybe at some point you will need to use this color. Let me remove this. Let's go to the second one. Sorry, not here. Adjustment layers. With the gradient, we combine two colors or more than two colors together to make the backgrounds and many other stuff. For now, we have two colors. And over here, we have the presets, the ready gradients. These are my gradients. And the basics, blues and purples, these comes with the Photoshop. If you just click on it, you can apply them like this. We have blues. There are many of them. There are many settings in the gradient that helps you to adjust your gradient. These two plays with the opacity of the color. For example, if I want to bring down the opacity of this one, just like this, we made it transparent. Let me make it 60 or something. And then down here we have the colors. Double click on it to change the color to any color that you want. And for this side is the same, just double click on this pen. I don't know what to call this actually, handle, pen, anything. When you click in an empty area, it will create a new pen and you can add a new color. Like this, you can add as many color as you want. If you go to the above pens, over here we can add more points for the opacity. For example, this area I want to increase the opacity or bring the opacity down. So you have a lot of customization in the gradients. Then over here we have the gradient type. You can make it noise. It will give you something like this. Then you can play with the colors to change it, or the roughness. You just go ahead and play with this in case you want to add something like this to your designs. You can also randomize and get some colors randomly. Let's make it solid again. Now you know how to add a new pen or a new color. You just click on an empty area and you create a new pen. If you want to remove a pen, you just drag it down like this. Then for each pen you have 2 points around them. These points will determine the area that the color will cover in your photo. I'm going to increase the opacity. Let's go over here and I'm going to make this 100. This one also, just so I can demonstrate the points for you better. Now each color has these 2 points. And when you move them around, it will determine the area that this color can control. When you press OK, you will have some more controls. We have the style. We can make it radial, we can make it angle, and then with the angle we can move it around. We can have the reflective and diamond. Let's make it linear again, and with the linear and everything else you can play with the angle. Then we have the scale. You can scale your gradient or scale it up or down. You can make their gradient reserve, and we have the dither. I never use this actually. And that's it. Let's make this 100 and press OK. Something that automatically comes with the adjustment layers is the layer mask. You can click on it and use the brush tool to remove the effect from the areas that you don't want, just like this. This layer mask comes with all of the adjustment layers. For example, if you add pattern, the pattern also have the layer mask. Let's remove this as well. Just press delete. Let's go to the pattern. With the pattern, we don't have a lot of controls. You just have the options to change the pattern. And then you have the scale and also link to the layer. You can scale up and down the pattern. You can also use the plus button to combine 2 or more patterns. With this also you have the mask layer on it, and you can use the paint tool, the brush tool, with the black color and remove the areas that you want to remove, just like this. Okay, let's remove this one as well and move to the other effects. The second group is mainly for the shadows and highlights, brightness and contrast. The first thing we have is brightness and contrast. So this basically plays with the brightness and this one plays with the contrast. And over here we have the clipping mask. You can click on it to clip mask it to the underlying layer. And this one shows before and after. The other one is for the reset, this one for the hide and show, just like this. Okay, let's remove this one, go to the next one. We have the levels. This one is for the bright areas, this one for the dark areas, and this one for the contrast. This is for the whites and this is for the blacks. And then you have some of the presets over here. And you can save your presets like this or load the presets of the levels. Let me remove this one as well. Go to the curves. With the curve you have RGB. We can play with the brightness, contrast and shadows. So the upper area is playing with the highlights. The down area plays with the shadows. As you can see, we have some shadows over here. If you want to fade them, you can do it like this. And the upper area is for the highlights. Then we have some of the presets, like this. And also you can save your presets over here or load the presets. Then we have the other colors. We can go to the red and play with the highlights and shadows of the red color. Then you have the green. You can add the green, or if you want you can remove the green just like this. And the same thing we have with the blues. You can add them and also remove them like this. And the rest of the curve effect, I will leave it for you to discover it and see what you can do with it. I'm going to remove this one. And you are going to add another one, which is the exposure. This one basically plays with the exposure. We have these three controls: exposure, offset and gamma. We have some of the presets over here, and if you click in this burger menu you can load or save your presets. Let's move to the next group. This one plays with the color. We have the vibrance. We have the vibrance of the colors and also the saturation of the colors. Yeah, let me remove this one, go to the next one. We have the hue and saturation. With the hue and saturation you can shift the colors just like this. Then you can play with the saturation of the colors and the lightness. We also have the colorize. If you check it, you can make the photo one color, just like this. Then you have the presets over here. And you can also save your presets or load your presets. Let me remove this one. We'll go to the next one, color balance. This plays with the midtones, highlights and shadows. With this one you can play a lot with the colors and come up with very nice effects. Let's go to the highlights and play with it like this. And we have shadows as well. Yes, just like this you can play with the color balance. I will remove it and move to the next one. We have black and white. This basically makes the colors black and white, and then you can, with each color, you can play with it and make it darker or brighter. Let me remove this one. Let's go to the next one. We have the photo filter. With this one, you have some of the preset you can add, and then also you can change this color. So basically it works like an overlay color. You can play with the density then, and that's it. Let's remove this. Let's go to the next one. We have the channel mixer. With this you mix red, green and blue. So if you want to mix your colors, greens, blues and reds, you can use this filter for that. You have the contrast over here. You can give it a lot of contrast, or you can decrease it. Sorry guys, I'm just going quickly over them just to show you what each one is doing. Let's go to the next one. We have color lookup. This is for the LUTs. If you have the LUTs, you can load them to your computer or to your Photoshop and add it to your photos. You can come over here and load the LUTs if you have them in your computer. Let me remove this and move to the other one. We have this group. We have the invert. This basically inverts the colors, just like this. Let's remove this one. The other one, you have posterize. This posterizes the photo, just like this one. And then we have the threshold. This blackens the highlights, just like this. It does this, and then with the mask that you have on this filter, you can remove in some areas and keep some of the highlights. Yeah, it's basically doing this. Let me remove this one. Go to the next one. We have the gradient map. This basically maps a gradient on your photo. Let's choose one of the ready gradients that we have. Whatever color you have on your gradient, it will be mapped and replaced with the shadows and highlights in your photos. Just like this. So the dark color will replace the shadows and bright colors will replace the highlights. You can go ahead and choose any of the gradient that you have, or you can create your own gradients. Let's remove this and move to the last one. We have the selective color. With this one you will choose individual colors and then play with them like this. Let's play with the color of the water. It will be this blue or the other blue. This one. And like this we can change the color. Let me make the red as before. Like this we only change the color of the water. And that's all about the adjustment layers. I know I went through them very quickly, but I want you to take your time and go through them one by one and see what they can do for you. I'll see you in the next lesson, and we will be covering some of these smart filters. See you there.